Okay, it's test day once again. Here are our notes. The rightly guided caliphs. These are noted as Abu Bakr, who was Muhammad's war lieutenant, if I remember correctly, and best friend, possibly. When Muhammad died, he said, Muhammad is dead. Allah is alive. So worship Muhammad, not the man. The man was just the messenger. Ali was the cousin and son in law of Muhammad. He had a son named Hussein. Mawiya. Shia follows Hussein. Sunnis follow Mawiya. Shia means partisan. Shia are the minority, predominantly in Iran. The Imam in Shia is has a very special role. The Imam is he who speaks with special authority. The Mahdi is a messianic figure, one who will come at the end of an age. Caliphates were military expansions of Islam after the death of Muhammad. You had the Umayyad Caliphate from 661 to 750, and then the Abbasids from 750 until 1258. Quran organization and core beliefs. Quran is divided by surahs. These are chapters. They're organized from longest to the shortest. So the second surah turns out to be the longest. You have the Meccan surahs from when Muhammad was younger, and in Mecca, these were shorter and more poetic. The surahs from Medina, after he established himself in that city safely and wielded political power, these turned out to be longer and more prosaic. They're less poetic and more essay-like. All the surahs are titled. The core belief is the complete and total submission to God. Islam is simple, uniform, and empirical. The five pillars of Islam. Shahada is a creedal statement. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Technically, that's all you need to say to become a Muslim. The Salat is the praying 5 times daily. The Zakat is alms for the poor, so 2.5% of all accumulated wealth. Ramadan is the 9th month of the lunar calendar, so it changes. This is when you fast during the daylight hours. And then the Hajj is after the cleansing of the Kaaba, everyone goes on pilgrimage to Mecca. Christianity versus Islam. Islam has the most contrast with Christianity. There's more crossover with the Jews. The prophets are shared between Judaism and Islam, and there are quite a lot. Muhammad emphasized modesty. Islam is sometimes criticized, but Muhammad advocated better women's rights compared to what was going on in the contemporary age at the time. Widows in ancient times faced hardships. Multiple wives provided social support. And there were a lot of widows because there was a lot of war. They were killing each other all the time. Men didn't live very long. Muhammad disliked divorce but accepted its necessity. Women could divorce and keep their dowry. Jihad, lesser jihad, would be something like a holy war against infidels or any other warring, attacking party. Greater jihad is the struggle against the self. Jihad just means struggle. The sword verse is the 9th surah of the Quran. Sunnah is the example of the Prophet. The Islamic developments of the Middle Ages. Ulama is the legal community. Sharia, defined as the straight path, is Islamic law. Sufism is mystical Islam. the whirling dervish. Suf means wool, so simple people, simple mannerisms, simple ways. But these is the mystical side. Wahhabism is a reform movement. There's no further expansion in the notes. The Wahhabis now you can associate with the tyrannical war-making brand. The Nation of Islam is mentioned from Detroit in the 1930s. That would make sense to get out from under the thumb of the Purple Gang, the Jews that ran the city at a very high level, along with the Irish Catholics. It makes sense that they would have had a very hostile stance towards the Muslims, especially when they were black. So the Nation of Islam is a black response to injustice. There's the Black Power movement from Malcolm X. Malcolm X was assassinated by the member of the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X, when he did the Hajj, the pilgrimage transformed his perspective to follow the straight path. He became more traditionally Muslim and Islamic, and that could not be tolerated by the Nation of Islam back in the United States, which was mostly political. Islam becomes simpler over time. Abu Bakr and core Islamic themes. Abu Bakr, upon Muhammad's death, again, if anyone worships Muhammad, he is dead. You must worship God because God is alive. There are consistent Islamic themes: conquest, social justice, political engagement, confidence, outspokenness, and being uncompromising. Muhammad was more merciful than typical leaders of the time. They do have a just war theory, very conservative standards. It's authoritative. There is no idolatry. Muhammad is the prophet. He is not divine. Quran just means the recitation. The hadith are the accounts of Muhammad's life. There is the two parts of the hadith, which are the trail of witnesses. So like who saw him in real time and interacted with him or heard something about him and wrote it down. And then the second part is the story itself. The Islamic calendar and Muhammad's later life. Islamic calendar dates from 622 CE. 2025 for them is 1446. Islamic calendar is lunar, so it's shorter than solar. Ummah is the Islamic community. Sharia, the straight path. 624 is the Battle of Badr. 630 is the conquest of Mecca. This is when Muhammad cleanses the Kaaba. Muhammad's relationship with the Jews, it started out fine, respectful of people of the book. Some Jews allied with the Quraysh and attempted to poison Muhammad. This is when Muhammad becomes much more skeptical of the Jews and redirects prayer from Jerusalem to Mecca. Muhammad dies in 1632. The early life of Muhammad, he married Khadijah when he was 25. She was 40. This happened around 610. Jews, Christians, and monotheists did exist in Arabia. The angel Gabriel appeared to Muhammad and said, recite, and commanded him to recite. Muhammad recited the Quran, or the first surah. Quran just means recitation. There is one God who is Allah. Muhammad quickly gained disciples and made enemies. In 620, Khadijah died. 620 to 621 is his night journey. Gabriel flies Muhammad to Jerusalem. This is when the prayer for 5 times a day was established. The Dome of the Rock is a very important site. At 622, Muhammad escapes Mecca from the assassination plot, and he flees to Yathrib, which is now Medina. This is his base of operations or town of operations. Historical context of early Islam. Islam and its offshoots are Baha'i and Sikhism. Islam equals peace or submission to God. Submission to God will be peaceful. Fierce resistance to idolatry. Muhammad was born around 570 in Mecca. He was orphaned early in his life. Arabia at the time is very tribal, polytheistic, has many blood feuds and social injustice. Widows and orphans faced extreme hardships. Jahiliyyah, or ignorance. This is the pre-Islamic Arabia. Kaaba, in pre-Islamic religious center in Mecca. The Quraysh, the dominant tribe, engaged in trade. Muhammad, intelligent, he's just, reflective, successful businessman, and he ran a caravan business. When we get into what happened between the Muslims and the Hindus, the Hindu just means people across the Indus River and their religion. So the Hindu name was actually given to them by the Muslim people that arrived. Islam, again, fiercely monotheistic, opposes idolatry. Religious images are frowned upon. You have one life. Humans are special. There's no pork eating. Moses says, don't worship the cow, slaughter the cow. Islam is egalitarian. Sharia and the straight path. Hindu, 330 million gods, maybe more. It can go to infinity. It does allow religious imagery everywhere. There is reincarnation. Humans are part of a broader community, venerate the cow, and it has the caste system. So you can see these things don't really make sense to go together. That's what those points were exemplifying. So now we get into the synthesis of Sikhism, or Hindus and Muslims. What does that look like? So Muslims come into the Indus in the 11th century. Nanak is born in the 1400s. He died in the 1500s. He definitely died in 1539. He was born into Punjab. He was born into a Hindu house, but his teacher was Muslim. The dad wanted him to be a businessman, and he was really terrible. He wanted to just write poetry. He knew who he was going to marry when he was 12. He left his wife and children at 30. He had 2 kids. His vision was there. It was neither Muslim or Hindu. Nanak travels the world. Sikh is disciple in Punjab. So that's all it means. A disciple of Nanak in Punjab. Nanak is the teacher of the Sikh. From Hinduism, you get samsara, karma. So that stays. You cannot get rid of that in any deviation or derivative from the Hindu tradition. So it's a Nirguna tradition. It's God beyond categories. So there are 1,400 hymns to God. From Islam, what you get is egalitarianism. So the caste system goes away. And monotheism. There is one God, the true name. Humans are special. Ahimsa, they decide that they can eat everything. And you can be released from the wheel. Nanak, referred to as the first guru. A guru is just a leader of a society. There were 10 human gurus. Amritsar, Punjab, is the home of the Sikh. Their scripture is the Adi Granth. A temple is called a Gurdwara. Khalsa gets created as the elite military force because the Sikhs were clearly being attacked by both sides, mostly Muslims. Singh is just the Sikh name for a lion. Singh is the name that Sikh men take, and Kaur is a Sikh female, which means princess. After the 10th guru, he said there will be no more human gurus. The 11th guru is the Adi Granth itself. The Persian Empire, what was the religion? Shia, the Imam, a person with special revelations to the word. 1844, Ali Muhammad, the Bab, Babuddin, he claims to be the 12th Imam. He has a more egalitarian approach to the sexes. This caused problems and he got executed in 1850. He names his successor as Hussein Ali. In 1865, he takes on the name Baha'u'llah, or the Baha'u'llah, the glory of God. They go from Babis to Baha'i. This is a universal religion. Baha'u'llah was exiled. He wound up in Acre. Haifa, Israel was Acre, which was under the Turks. He died in 1892. The Baha'i today are no longer governed by a single person. It's a universal house of justice. It's meant to unify all religion. There was a 5-year appointment for a 9-member body to govern the body. Mount Carmel is where Elijah happened and the slaughter of the priest of Baal. National Spiritual Assembly is also a 9-member body. Local communities are 9-member assemblies, so you can kind of see how this goes. There is one God, it's monotheistic. All major religious figures are messengers of God. That's how they incorporate everyone. Humanity on earth, on a path of spiritual development. So everybody is developing spiritually. All humans are equal. There must be an independent search for truth. This helps to create a unity of religions in their mind, and all prejudice is bad. There should be harmony between religion and science, equality between men and women. There must be a compulsory education. There's a universal language. Who knows what that would be? There should be no extreme wealth or poverty. They've clearly failed on that accord. And there should be a world tribunal for settling disputes, which they're supposed to be, called the UN. But the Israelis and the United States violate it all the time.